My dreams are nightmares. How can I sleep? You got the gun against me.
What's going on, everybody? KingofDragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the NECA Ultimate Edition's King Kong. And so here we have the NECA King Kong posed and out of the packaging. Before we take a look at the figure, let's actually run through Kong's accessories. King Kong does come with two different head sculpts. He does come with the open mouth that you see on him right now. And then we also do get a head where he is roaring and screaming, which looks really nice. He also does come with a pair of fists. Then we also have a pair of style posed open hands. Other than that, King Kong here doesn't come with anything else. Maybe a closed mouth head would have been nice, and maybe a little person for him to hold. That would be ideal, but I can see NECA doing that in a later figure. But anyway, really nice looking figure. Let's actually go on to his details and see what this figure is all about. And so here we have a closer look at King Kong, and I think NECA has done a really great job with this figure. Now, this isn't particularly based off one version of King Kong. This does seem to have elements from classic King Kong. As you can tell, this face does look really classic to a more modern King Kong, because this head does look like it's from a modern King Kong. It's supposed to be the same face, but you can actually see that this does look like a modern King Kong angry head, while this looks more like the cartoony guy in a mask head. There's nothing wrong with it. It looks really nice, and it's a really good representation of King Kong. Really do like that. Really do like that they did give some scarring right here on his face, like he has seen some battles. Really do like the sculpt work on his face. It's really nicely detailed. The paint work is phenomenal. Really love the brown eyes with the pink irises. Those do stand out really nicely. And then we have some more scratches right here on this side. His fur is done in this really nice brown dry brushing, which it does highlight the detail really nicely, especially because we have this dark brown going for his face, some black for his fur, and then some brown going all the way around. So yeah, really, really great paint apps on King Kong here. Really disappointed I wasn't able to pick him up sooner. I just barely started seeing him around my area, so I am happy to finally have King Kong in hand. There are some areas that do look like they could use some more paint, especially right back here. You can see how nice it looks right here on this side, but then we get over here and there's like this dull patch of just black matted down fur. Maybe that's the way it's supposed to be, I don't know, but it is something to notice that the paint isn't going to be 100% consistent throughout the entire figure. That's something we have to expect from action figures. Really, really liking the chest here. You can see they did sculpt the chest muscles really nicely, and then they did give him some gashes right here. We have a couple of gashes like he has been seeing a lot of battles. So that looks really nice, and they did a really good job differentiating his skin tone from his fur. As you can see, the skin tone is almost like a charcoal color, while his fur is a really nice dark brown and black. So those do work really nicely together. As you can see right here, just how much detail went into this figure. He has a lot of details going through him. There's hardly anything I don't like about the paint apps. Like I said, a little consistency issues here and there, but it's nothing too drastic that I'm going to say, oh, this is a terribly painted figure. He looks really nice, and the differentiating colors in the fur do add some depth to it. So I do like the way it looks. One thing I do like is that they actually painted his hands really nicely. You can see the differences in the fur versus his skin tone. This again has that charcoal color to it, while his fur has the same underneath charcoal color with the browns and the blacks. So it does highlight this figure's details really, really well. Yeah, like I said, you can see some areas where they kind of just globbed on the paint, but for the most part, this figure looks exceptionally well, and I do like how they incorporated the paint throughout this figure. It looks really, really good. Like I said, I do have some issues with the paint kind of missing the mark here. It does look a little odd seeing the brown dry brushing and then you see just black fur. But that is something that you would see in nature, so it's not something that I can hold against the figure too much. And again, the differentiating browns do highlight how much detail this figure has. Really do like the paint work. You can see they did use a lighter brown right here on his thigh. Then we have like a darker brown right here on his knee, going all the way down to a really dark brown to his foot. And then we have some more skin tone. So really nice figure all the way around. Even on the underside of his foot, they added so much detail. Like all the wrinkles in his paws here, you can see they did an exceptional job there. It would have been nice if they gave us alternate feet, like he was grabbing something with his foot, but it's still a really good sculpt, and you can see how much detail went into the feet, just how much love and care went into each of those nails. The wrinkles on the toes look exceptionally well. So yeah, overall, this King Kong has a lot of nice details. And like I said, I am a little disappointed I wasn't able to pick him up earlier. The last time I saw him in stores was back in, I think, August. August sounds about right because that's about the time everything happened to me. But still really happy I finally have a King Kong here in hand. He looks really nice. Now, let's actually get him posed to other figures you may have in your collection just so you can see the scale of King Kong. And so here we have King Kong posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a DC Multiverse Superman. Here we have King Kong posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. And finally, here we have King Kong posed next to a Lightning Collection White Ranger and a Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually have a look at King Kong's articulation. Now, he does have surprisingly good articulation for a giant gorilla, and let's actually go through that really fast. NECA did include a double ball joint here in his head, so you can see just with the single ball joint we really don't get too much movement looking up or down. He of course does rotate, which that does work fine, but we also do get a bigger ball joint going into the neck, which does allow him to look up about that far. He can look straight, and you can move that around with his torso, which we'll get into that in a little bit. So we do get some really nice head tilt, some rotation right there, some pivot, so we get some really decent range in the head, which I really do like. His arms do go out to the side, only to about there, which is pretty disappointing. You would have preferred all the way horizontal, but that is what he gets. We do have a full 360, no problems there, and we do get these really massive tree trunk-like arms right here, so really glad they did do that. We have a bicep swivel, which works no problem. We do have a double bend here at the elbow. As you can see, he goes all the way up, and that does work for beating his chest poses, so I do like that. We do have rotation right here at the elbow. We have forearm rotation for some reason. I'm not a fan of this joint for NECA, honestly. This is a stupid joint in my opinion. They can do without that, but I don't know why they keep doing it, but they do have it. Then we have a swivel here at the wrist, as well as a hinge, and that works no problem. We do have a ball joint here in the torso, and this is probably one of the best ball joints I've ever seen on a figure. He can go all the way back. As you can see, that does help him with looking up, so really good posing there. He can come all the way forward. Now, you don't want to pose him like this on the side because we do get this lump right here. There was just no way to design this so that this looked nice looking forward. You're mainly going to have him looking dead on, so I'm perfectly okay with that. We do have side-to-side rotation, or pivot, so you can see he does move around really nicely. Rotation works perfectly fine. Something I do like is that this is a rubber piece right here, so moving his legs is no problem. They do go out to about right there, and you can see this does a really good job of getting out of the way, so I do like that. Going back, well, they go back to about there, so that works no problem. Going out to the side, he can do complete side kicks. So if you wanted Kung Fu King Kong, side kicks are perfectly fine with him. We do have thigh swivel, which is kind of tight on mine. We do have upper knee rotation, which that does work, as well as a double bend here at the knee, going a little past 90, which is pretty good for a gorilla figure. Then we do have shin swivel. We have a hinge in the foot, which does go back and forward. And then we have forward-facing pin for rocker ankle. So overall, King Kong here has pretty good articulation. And I'm not just saying that because he's a gorilla. despite being a gorilla, he has really nice articulation. So, with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get imposed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have the ultimate King Kong posed for my final thoughts, and overall I think NECA has done an amazing job with this King Kong figure. Now there are a few things I would have liked to see on this figure. Maybe some chains to go around his wrist, maybe another hand that has a little female sculpted in it that he can hold. I think those would have made this King Kong a really, really great figure. Not saying he's a bad figure by any stretch of the imagination. NECA has done a fantastic job with this figure. The sculpt work on him is phenomenal. The paint could be a little bit better in some areas, but for the most part what they do have, it works for Kong here. Now, like I said, despite the fact he doesn't come with all the accessories I wanted, I do like the fact that we do get two different head sculpts. We have a very classic looking King Kong, and then we have a somewhat of a modern looking King Kong, because classic King Kong could not get the facial expressions of modern Kong. So once again, really good attention to detail from NECA here. If you are looking for a King Kong figure, he is starting to hit stores at the time I'm making this video. Even though he did come out late last year, I wasn't able to find him in stores, so finding him finally was something I really wanted, because this is one figure I wanted to have in my collection. Now he is slightly bigger than most of your Godzilla figures, but you can fudge him into the display with him crouching down or in battle positions. That's probably the best way to have this figure posed if you're going to have him with Godzilla. Overall, I do think for the price you're paying, this is a really, really good figure. And for $30, this is probably one of the best King Kong figures we have gotten to date. With that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go check out all my other NECA videos, as well as all my other action figure reviews. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you'd like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it's in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.